So I've got another comparison for you guys today. This is a Bobcat ZT7000. I know a lot of you have really been wanting me to have this out for testing, and I have. At GIE, Bobcat claimed that they had the top cut in the industry, and that's in my shorts if you want to see that. So I'm excited to see how this cuts in comparison to this Hustler X-Ride and a Scag deck that's on this, which is the same deck that comes on all the Scag Cheetahs and the Scag Turf Tiger, which is their two highest end units. And this is their highest end unit stand on. But to start out, all of these have the same close to size deck. This has a 61-inch deck. This has a 60-inch deck. And this has a 61. So the Bobcat and the Scag run the same size deck. This is running a 40 horse EFI Briggs & Stratton motor. This is running the new Evo 34.5 horse Kawasaki FX820V. It tells you the horsepower right here. You can see 34.5 horsepower. I've been really impressed with this motor. And this is running the 38.5 horse Kawasaki FX1000V. And you see the horsepower right here. So the Scag has the highest horsepower out of all these. The Hustler has the least horsepower, and we're going to put these on heel stability. We're going to do a cut test, wet cut test, quite a bit of things with these. One of the things I want to tell you is, let's start with the deck. So this FX deck has quite a bit of things that you can adjust on it. So you can see that you've got this front lip for protection that goes across the bottom. This goes all the way around the bottom right here. It's welded to it. And if you look at these little nuts here, the bolts, they go inside this deck in here, and you can adjust that front lip in this. See this here? You can adjust this front lip, and it's baffled deck all through here. It has these little baffles. One of the things that I'll say about these baffles is they are very, very thin made. And I could see these getting bent really easy. And as you can see here, someone has already bent this one. This mower has less than 100 hours on it. And so one of the things that I see is that could create an issue. I guess you could take the baffles out. But then I wonder if it would cut the same as it's going to. And, you know, we're going to fix that. I'm going to actually take and try to bend this back out normal before we even start mowing. And I'm going to sharpen those blades and get them perfect. I was given this unit as a demo. So, you know, there's nothing that I couldn't choose what I wanted. So, like I said, we're going to test that out. On the Hustler, it's a 60-inch deck. And it's a pretty open platform like the Scag. You can see here, it's got this front lip that you can move down or up depending on how you want to get more suction or less suction in vacuum and the speed of rate you're going at. You can adjust this all the way around. See this tab here all the way? You can adjust this deck lip all the way up or down depending on how you're cutting. These run a 3-inch wide blade. This is going to be the most robust blade system that we have testing today. All the other ones are running a 2.5-inch blade. The blades are also thinner on the other two. The Scag deck is an open design. It has the biggest chute in the industry that I know of. The opening here, you can see how wide that is. It is very, very open deck. And it is, you know, well made. The thing about the Scag is you have to completely take the bolt all the way out of the deck. So to change the blades on the Scag, you have to remove the whole bolt system. So on any Scag you buy, you've got to lift the front end all the way up to change the blades on it. Whereas this one or this, you can literally just put an impact on the bottom, and I'll show you that in my shorts, and like a right angle impact, and you can pop the blades off, sharpen them, put them back on. Just takes a little bit less time, so, you know, you don't have to have any other machines to do so. After the deck, when you look at them, the wheel motors. Now, a lot of people, you know, they don't pay attention to wheel motors or anything like that when they buy them. These two have the exact same wheel motor. They run a ZT5400 transaxle, which is an all-in-one unit. So everything's enclosed inside these. This is a 2-speed. So you've got 2 speeds right here. You can switch with your foot pedal. So when you get on this, if you want to transport, you can go up to 19 mile per hour is what they claim. So when you get this mower, if you're going between properties and you're running full speed, and then you want to jump, like let's say you wanted to jump 2 houses over down there, you can hit that switch there and it'll let the mower run 19 mile per hour. And we'll race these today just to show you that, so you can get an idea of how fast that is. Both of them, like I said, are running 26-inch tires on these two. And, you know, this is going to be, between these three, this is what I could get to test the Scag deck with these. So we're not necessarily looking to race this one with it, but this will show you the cut quality and heel stability and things like that in comparison with a ride-on, you know, a stand-on compared to a ride-on. Now, to look at your components, like let's say you want to maintenance this, we'll go over this first. This has grease fittings and set grease zerks in all your spindles, your deck lift, things like that. You've got grease zerks all over. You can see them down in here. This is a very grease zerk oriented machine. I like that personally. Some of you are not going to like that, but I like that. Also, you can lift this up and get down in there super easy. It has these little sponge-like things, so you're not getting vibration or dampening, you know, jumping around. And the seat, you can lift the seat up here. Now, one of the things I will go ahead and say, and I'll knock on the Bobcat first, is how little the battery is on this machine. And I can tell that even at 100 hours, it already seems like it kind of struggles to start itself. So, you know, on this, if you look at the battery on this Hustler, well, I ain't even looked at the battery on this one, but on my other Hustler, the battery, yeah, you can see it right here. It's so much bigger of a battery. See the size of that battery in comparison? So it's a lot wider, thicker battery. The bigger the battery, the easier they start, especially when it's cooler out in the mornings and you go to start these. The bigger you can put a battery in it, the better. Now, this does have room to expand the battery. So if you wanted to put a bigger battery, you could get a wider one and put in that gap. But it comes with a little battery from the factory. I don't know why they're choosing to do that. But other than that, it's pretty open platform. You can open this back part up here. And let's see, how do you do it? So that one of these you turn, and it lets you open it, I think. So I guess you gotta unscrew that bolt, but it's big enough that you can hinge it with your fingers. Anyway, this back comes off somehow. I didn't try to take it off. I just know I've seen them before they come off. So you can open this up, pretty easy to work on it. And it's just one of them deals that you can swing that whole back part out to get to your motor and to get to things to maintenance it. This is a very, very well set up. Probably one of the best setup mowers that I have seen for servicing. I absolutely love how the ergonomics of this Bobcat is. It just, all your controls and everything, and I'm going to show you that when I sit in the driver's seat of it, how it works. It's just a really, really well laid out mower. On this, to service it, you do have to take a bolt out here if you want to get back into your deck and you want to do things. All of them have these twist off style. So you loosen this up and then you just pull this up and off. It's super simple to do, but they're all set up the same way. Now, as far as getting under the seat of this, like I said, you just pull this lever on this seat and lift it up. Now, your hydros, to clean them out, I wish that they had a little bit better way to get down there to pull the debris out of the hydro things, because a lot of times this gets down in them and you can see it build up. See it build up in that fan blade right there? So it's one of those things that you've got to, you know, try to get your hand and manipulate it to get it down in there. Now, Hustler on their decks runs some of the biggest, actually, I think they run the biggest pulleys in the industry on their deck pulleys. And I'll show you that so you can look back in here. Look how big those pulleys are. That pulley there is I think it's 9 or 10 inches wide, and you can see how big all the other pulleys are. And this pulley here, like I said, you can look under here. It has some pretty big pulleys, but not near as big as what this has on it. But over here, you've got some pretty decent sized pulleys too. You can see there, but still 8 to, I'd say the 7-inch pulley is the biggest one on there. Now, whether that's going to help in cut, we'll see. But like I said, this has a really nice layout on it. As far as claim speeds, this is claimed to run 13 mile per hour. This is claimed to run 13 mile per hour in the base mode, and then 19 in high. And I'm going to show you that. One of the nice things I really like about this is it comes with this light on it from the factory. All of these come with this little light in here, and they've got this little switch. So when you're sitting in the driver's seat, everything that you're going to do is right here at your hands. I absolutely love this. It's tilted up, it's curved towards you, and then you've got your little light switch here to turn the light on and off. Your throttle's here. You can see your, oil pressure, ECU, start it. Everything's just right at your fingertips. And then you've got a 12-volt accessory over here. Your fuel switch. Look at that. Your fuel switch is right there by your hand. So when you move this up, you've got left and right tank. You can literally see them and switch them back and forth right in the driver's seat. Every other one I've ever seen is back here, and you're trying to reach your hand back and get to it. Just a pain to get to. And, I love how they've made the ergonomics on here and the cup holder. It just seems so much nicer and convenient how it's set up. Now, whether it functions better or not, I don't know, but as far as its convenience, I really do like that. Now, one of the things I don't like as much is how you work the deck. When you're mowing, you've got this right here, so you're trying to, you can see I'm trying to reach around this and drop my deck and raise it, and there's not really a good way to do it with my hand in there. And so, if you're ever switching your deck all the way up or down, it's kind of in the way when the handles are in. So, you'd have to stop because and put your parking brake on, because your parking brake is in the switch right here, whereas Hustler's is in the handlebars. So, when you're moving your deck, you've got this here. You can put your hand like that and reach and hit that pretty easy. I mean, it's still on the other side, but for some reason, the way that bar is set up when it's in, it's almost right there on top of it. So it just seems a little more cumbersome to me. Now, lifting the deck on this Bobcat is so smooth. Like, it's got these springs, and it will lift the deck super simple. Like, it doesn't take a whole lot of foot pressure to lift that deck on the Bobcat. I really do like it. This tire design, I've never seen this, but this is a 26 by 12 tire, which is the same thing. This is called a Zero Joe or something. I don't know what that is, but it's a 4-ply tire on there. It's a 26 by 12 by 12. Same thing that this is running. This is running a Grassmaster. It does look like that tire sets up taller than this one does. Just looking at them from, eyeball view. These run a non-flat front tire, so you can run all you want through it. It won't poke a hole in it. These run pneumatic tires, so you have to make sure that your air stays in these. And I will tell you, I've had 2 of these mowers, these Hustlers, with the pneumatic tires. It really helps the ride on them a lot. So to me, as a homeowner that's running these on big acreage, I much prefer a pneumatic tire than I do a, airless tire. Now, I know if you're running commercially, this is the only way it makes sense. So, I'm not knocking it in any way. I'm just saying, as far as ride quality, it really helps Hustler's ride quality, or any mower. You could put pneumatic tires on this and it would help the ride quality. Other than that, on this Scag, it's running a lot littler tire. I think it's running a 24 by 12 by 12. So it's a littler tire, which is the same thing that's on their Scag Cheetah. Their Turf Tiger runs a 26. This is running a run flat in the front. Now, one of the things on this I want to show you. So I have never been a stand-on ride guy, but one of the things I want to show you, just so you know, if you're looking into this Scag V-Ride XL, and I found this weird, if you go below 3 inches on this deck, if you decide to go below 3 inches, like let's say you want to cut at 2 7/4, let's say there's a property where someone wants you to cut it below 3 inches, you're going to have to completely remove your belt and switch it on your pulley. So if you look at that pulley back here at the back, you're going to see how it has 2 slots. See, one on the bottom and one on the top. You have to, if you go below 3 inches, move those belts down below on the bottom pulley. So keep that in mind if you're looking at buying one of these. That's a little weird to me that they would do that, but I know why they've done it, because Scag has the highest cut height in the industry. You can go up to 6 inches, where all of the other ones, you can go, I think you can actually go maybe 6 1/4 or 6 1/2 if you went to the upper limit one, which is right here, because 6 is on this one. So if you went to the upper one right here, you could actually go even higher than 6. Now this will go to 5 1/2 at the top, and this goes to 5 1/2. So both of these go to the same height, and that one goes way over it, which is at like 6 1/4 at the top where you can mow. So potentially, if you was using these to cut a field down and you wanted to not take on as much grass, you could raise the Scag deck up higher than any of them and not take on as much grass, because these two here, you got about a 1/2 inch difference, and a 1/2 inch of grass is a whole lot of grass. So, you know, keep that in mind. Now, I've been running this Hustler Hyperdrive for a couple of months now, and it's a shock ride package. So when you look at the ride quality and how they're set up, this is set up with a custom shock below the seat. And you can change how you want the ride quality to be by moving this pin and putting it in any position that you want. So you've got 5 different settings, and you've got this shock, and it will give you a stiffer or softer seat ride. And then you've got the 4 little bolsters under there that give you that ride. And it does okay, but a Hustler Hyperdrive with 26s and the flex forks actually is smoother than this X-Ride, just so you've got that. Now on this, I don't think there's any technology as far as ride. I don't think there's anything that is different than, you know, most of the things like the Hustler Hyperdrive. I think it's just got a air bladder seat with the adjustability, the little spring rate. And it's going to give you, you know, how you can change that. You can move it forward or backwards. And that's really all you have on this. As far as your seats, this has, on this one, you've got where you can adjust the back. So you can move it forward and backward depending on how you want to adjust the ride of it. And then in your armrest, you've got these. Nope, this one don't have it. My Hyperdrive did. You could adjust the armrests and how they would adjust, but that one does not have it. Okay, so as far as your arms, if you want to adjust the arms on it, you can loosen these bolts and shift this forward or backward depending on, you know, up or down. So if you want this to be higher or lower, you can shift this up or down, and then you can also tilt the sticks backwards or forwards depending on where you are as a rider. On the Hustler, it's the same exact way. You can just loosen this one. You can shift it backwards and forwards, or you can raise it up and down depending on the height of your ride. As far as the front caster wheels, I think this runs a 15-inch tire on it. Yeah, it's a 15 6 by 4 1/2. This runs a 13, and on this one, it's a 13. Well, let me see. Where's it at? Yeah, 13 by 6.5. So these two are running 13s and that's running a 15. So that should help the ride some. As far as the bigger the tire you have, the more absorption it can take. So if there's any questions you guys have, you know, just let me know. Like I said, your gas tanks on this are manual. Same thing as over here, manual gas tanks. Both of them have two. They're 12-gallon capacity on each one, so you've got 6 in each side. And then you've got on this these little USB ports, so if you want to charge your phone or whatever, you got 2 right there beside your seat. Really nice setup. But we're going to take these out, do some cut tests, and we'll see how they do.